Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Deep State. So I have felt very much a need to get on, and I promised y'all I'd do a video. So I'm going to put a little something out there. Tentatively, I'll probably just back this up for now on BitChute, and I might throw a Dr. Deep State 2. And some of what I'm going to do today is going to describe the project I'm about to embark on and tell everybody about. It might be a bit fragmented. I have this idea that I'll probably put in the title something like Gnostic cinema, although this has nothing to do with cinema. I'm probably going to drop a bunch of names of films down there, Gnostic films, and I think those are just in a small period of time. They're probably not even in the last 10 minutes. And what's that all about? Well, this idea is very much in the air of conspiracy. And since the 1st and 2nd century, that has been a central theme or tenet of the Gnostic belief system, mindset, is that the world is a conspiracy. I think today, when we think about this sort of externalizing of events and the idea of conspiracy is in the air, it makes us kind of wonder, is this sort of a deliberate externalization that's going on, or events just getting out of hand? At the one end, we have, of the conspiracy groups, the sort of QAnon type, at least that there's voter frauds, or the deep state Democrats are into something, all the way to the other end of the spectrum, the sort of I would call it the quantum level, that the whole world is an illusion, that common throwaway lines you hear from these sort of people are that we are spirits that happen to be in bodies. It's kind of a common refrain. And it's also a time when everybody is kind of accusing everybody else of being a Gnostic, and we're not even quite sure what that term means. So what I'm trying to do is kind of get a sense, which I don't have. I don't think anybody in the world can make sense of what's going on today. But I want to get a sense of where I think metaphysically things are going right now, as the level of conspiracy seems to get ramped up each and every day. And I think that that's a necessary part for this mindset, which has been tagged, the Gnostic mindset, to be connected to rebellion and revolution throughout the ages. A current Catholic scholar just identified it with the sort of QAnon, or more importantly, sort of the woke, cancel culture, Black Lives Matter kind of thing that's been going on. A lot of these type of Catholic scholars rely on Eric Voegelin's work that I used in Sing Through the Singularity. But what you see is a very loaded thought form. Beyond, I would say, mimics, it has a metaphysical element to it. And over the ages, especially if it's tied to things like apocalypticism or millennialism, the world is going to end, it becomes very, very loaded. And I think this thought form was present around the time of Constantine, 4th, 5th century. Definitely during the times of the Crusades and the siege on Jerusalem, and even the genocide of the Cathars, who were ironically Gnostic. So this is tricky stuff to untangle here. For Vogelin, it was present with Calvin and the Reform movement and his insistence on this doctrine that would seem to have all points meet on predestination. All other sects, except maybe the ancient Manichaeans, were scared to go there because it kind of went in between times, in between worlds, and opened up sort of a gate where if somebody was designated the elect, they might be able to create a new order. So a lot of this is about, you know, the destruction of the old, the material, the demiurge's work in order to create a new, you know, the whole phoenix kind of idea. That's stemming in there. And again, there's a lot to untangle here. But I am going to suggest that the Gnostic mindset is necessary for a healthy, you know, a good third or half of the population to be circulating in this world of conspiracy in order to inject this new thought form. So I don't want to give too much away right now, but that's what I'm trying to untangle, because especially for us, I'm assuming you all, that have been kind of playing around with truth, it does seem strange that it's kind of creeping into the mainstream. And it's not even necessarily that this is part of an agenda, although it certainly could be. It's got a spiritual element, and I think it's in what I'm interested in right now is sort of isolating that element. I'm going to finish right now with a thought, because there's a few thoughts I'm bringing together here in the work I'm doing, and one of them is an attack that's been going on for a century, but it's heightened right now. It's an attack on a doctrine, an orthodox doctrine within Christianity it's currently called amillennialism. It almost doesn't exist. Evangelicals are barely aware of it. There was a book put out this week that wanted to suggest that people that support this doctrine are you can fill in the blank there. So that if you, this is the doctrine of millennialism, I think properly understood. It was spiritualized by Augustine. It was supported by Luther and Calvin, but with the advent of premillennial dispensationalism and even postmillennialism, it has been under attack, marginalized, and now it's going to be part of the cancel culture itself. So get that. So part of this is coming back to part of the agenda is kind of it. This is where it gets strange, and I probably should just wrap this up at this point. Where it gets really strange, because I have to explain my terms and where I'm going with this concept of Gnosticism. Gnosticism is a hate for the material world and an idea of escape. It's been transmogrified, and it's really about taking these perfect forms, not the forms created by the demigod, the creator god, but these perfect forms out there in this sort of Neoplatonic world, and pulling them back, crushing the current order of the demiurge, and reconstructing this new order, which I referred to in the final chapter of my book as the egregore of earthly Jerusalem. So that's why this is including Vogelin and his disciples. It's always been a puzzle. In the ancient world, the ancients wanted to seemingly escape the material, but in the modern world, they have a strong millennial flavor. And what that means is you believe that the millennial, this 1,000-year Reich, is going to be earthly, it's going to be a golden age, and it's going to be visible, and that, in the end of the day, for the deep Gnostics, you know, if we do this again, the deep Gnostics don't just reject the Abrahamic religions. Any religion they pretty much think is partnered with this demiurge. Anything that wants to hold on to the material. So it's about massive destruction of the creative order, including, of course, the created political order. And that's why you're going to see vestiges of it, and just sort of mindless bashing of the, you know, urban streets, and the, you know, quote-unquote wake culture that we kind of got an earful of over the last summer. So those are some of the ideas, and I think you can imagine why it's kind of difficult for me just to throw out this first video, because hopefully I didn't lose you with these interconnected ideas. But I'm gonna try to get back to you on a very regular basis, and I do hope everyone's doing well. So this has been Dr. Deep State. See y'all.